I want to do one more bit of body mapping. We did the mapping of how your head and neck connect with each other and your sits bones. I want to talk about your shoulder girdle in a moment. So let's do this little experiment. Um, Take a hand, this is my left hand, and I'm bringing it over to the right side of me. You could use either one. Yeah. And find the clavicle, your clavicle. It's a long bone. Can you
Got
feel it?
it.
It goes up in here somewhere where there, yeah. Now trace it with your finger very lightly on it. Bring it in towards the center slowly. And at some point, it changes pretty dramatically. Can you feel that? Little
Mm-hmm.
bump. Yeah. Okay. Now leave a fingertip just resting on that bump
Okay.
lightly and raise your other arm. Move it around. What happens with the bump?
Oh, okay. So I feel like there's maybe it rotates or pivots or there's some tendon.
There's movement there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's two of them. Okay. One on either side. In
Mm-hmm.
between is the top of your sternum, which is a kind of a long bone that if you trace, you run down, you kept going, eventually there'll be like a hole.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of it. Many ribs are attached to your sternum, not all, but many. And these two bumps are joints.
Mm-hmm.
They're not technically called ball and socket joints because they're so shallow, they don't have that term, but they function very much like ball and socket joints.
Oh, okay.
So let's do, and let me just show you on the skeleton just how much goes on there. So hold this close to the camera, here and here. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Clavicles in the back, scapula, scapulae.
Yeah.
That's the girdle, includes the arms, all right down to your hands, clavicles in front, scapulae in back. That is your shoulder girdle. Okay.
Okay. So the
Now,
shoulder is an all-encompassing front and
yeah,
back.
it's a term for the whole thing.
Okay.
Now, watch what happens to this guy, this clavicle, when you go to raise your arm. Look at that. Whoa. Huge
Okay.
amount of movement.
Yeah.
What happens to scapulae? Look at that.
Hmm.
Lots of movement. Now, these guys do not directly touch your sternum, your torso.
Okay.
There's a tiny little place where they do. So what I said just now is like 95% true. But
Okay.
these 2 points, these are the only two places where your shoulder girdle actually touches your torso. That's
Hmm.
it. These two guys. And it touches the sternum, and the sternum in turn has a lot to do with how ribs are moving. Not all of them. There are these lower ones that are called free floating ribs, but most of your ribs attach to your sternum. So let's do an experiment to
Yeah.
see what we can take for. So that's nice, it's a little bit of anatomy,
Anatomy.
but
Okay.
let's see what its usefulness could be.
Okay.
So I'm going to raise my arms and I'm just going to go as high as I can without making any kind of special effort. I want to stay in the range of easy movement. I'm not trying to reach the ceiling. So just do that. Just raise them, but don't go pushing it hard. Just what's comfortable. Bring them down lift them up. And as you do that a few times, just notice how much effort it's taking you and what that range is. Let me know when you've got that registered.
Okay.
All right, so bring your arms down. Now this time, unbutton something here. Create a little circle, mental circle that includes both these bumps. Just a little region here, okay?
Okay.
And just know, as we've demonstrated with Scotland, just know that there is movement in this area every time I move an arm or two. I don't not no interest in, oh, how is it? What is that movement? What exactly is going on? Just there's any arm movement creates movement here. So you
Okay.
just say, I know there's movement here when I'm going to do something involving my arms.
Got
Okay.
it.
So do have that in the background
Okay.
and raise your arms with that idea in mind. There's movement there. What do you notice?
When I think about the center thing, I feel like my arms got lighter a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not just thinking about it, you're knowing that there's movement there. That's the thing. Not that there you care, you have no interest in the details of what that movement is. That's
Okay.
not, but there's movement there when you move your arms.
Okay.
And if you can, stop and throw that thought away, and now just raise your arms
Okay.
in any old way. And can you sense the difference?
Yeah,
In
it's back. My arms are heavy again.
Yeah, they're heavy, and you notice a difference in the range that they can comfortably move in.
Uh-huh.
You switch back and forth and see. Yeah, you see that. So, yeah, that's with the movement just now, right?
So now
Yeah,
I'm thinking the
there's
movement.
your hands go up higher because you have a longer range of easy movement.
Gosh, that's gonna help when I exercise.
Right. Well, yeah, it'll help. Well, it's gonna help more than that, but yes. But here's an example of the same thing we talked about last time, the head and neck, right? That if you have no idea about any of this stuff, which most people don't, then you have sort of an implicit idea that nothing much happens here when you move your arms. It's not a
Right.
conscious thought for most people. It's just, why would I have, what on earth would this do to arm movement, right?
Right.
It's not, it just, it's like saying, what would this do? What would putting my hand here have to do with arm? It would just be a strange thing to think about. But notice that when you do know, you bring to bear in your thinking very lightly, I know when I move my arms, there's going to be something happening here, some movement.
Yeah.
Then you bring what you do with your arms in line with what your actual physical structure is.
Okay.
Because whenever there's a difference between what you assume, could be unconsciously, and what really is about your structure, there's a battle that's set up. And in that battle, one side always wins.
Okay.
And would you care to guess which side that is?
I honestly, my husband came home and it distracted me. So I'm like, guys, go away. Like, okay, start it over. What are the sides again? When you're thinking about it and when you're not thinking about it,
Yeah.
which
Well,
wins with you?
when you assume implicitly, not consciously necessarily, that this has nothing to do with this.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Um, so when you're essentially assuming that nothing happens here.
Right.
Now, something's going to happen here whether you assume it or not. That's not the issue. But if you have a sort of assuming that nothing's happened here and you go to move your arms, you're
Mhm.
not using your physical mechanism as it was designed to be used.
Okay.
And that's a battle between the reality of what is and what you think is. And
Okay.
in that battle, one side always wins 100% of the time. And that's what this guy thinks. You're going
Mhm.
to try to move as though there was nothing here.
Right.
And so there'll still be movement here, but it just won't be the quality of movement that you really would like to be able to move your arms freely. Now, we've been talking about moving your arms up like this, but how about moving them forward to a keyboard? Same process, and you can experiment for yourself, exploring, doing keyboarding with or without.
Conducting.
Huh?
Conducting.
Conducting. Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Conducting. And to take it to the more mundane, walking. Your arms hopefully are moving when you're walking. And I think you'll find that if you explore, hey, there's movement here when I walk, you might notice that your arms move more freely.
Hmm. Okay.
So let's go from so that's for you to explore, and if next time we might want to explore it online with you walking or doing some other activities.